All right, colleagues, good afternoon, everyone. Kindly unmute and give me feedback if you can hear me loud and clear. The internet today is so bad that I think we shouldn't really waste much time, but get on quickly. So if you can hear me, kindly unmute and give me feedback, please.
Okay, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I can hear you, sir.
All right. So can you also see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. So today we are going to continue with what we have started. Today is the third meeting in our series titled Get Lit. So we are trying to learn how to efficiently and effectively access and retrieve the online literature, usually in academic databases that our libraries subscribe to. I am trying not to mute anyone, but please, we'll have to respect the community rules. All right, please. If you are not speaking, kindly keep your microphone on mute. All right. That said, I've allowed a number of people to talk, but due to the internet problem, I will leave that and concentrate on the presentation. And during the question time, anyone who would want to talk, I can quickly just allow the person. All right. Okay. So here we are today in our third session. In our first session, we tried to create our topics. We learned about the three ways by which our topics may emerge. And at this point, just give me a second to fix something and get back quickly, please. All right, thank you very much. So we will go on quickly to open our workbook. Remember what we started doing, the Microsoft Word document. I'm going to open it and we'll move on with the first item. There's only one item actually, but that item has sub-activities to be done. We are actually focusing today on how to search. And we are going to first look at our PICO. We learned last week about how to parse our research questions using the PICO framework that we used in creating them. And from there, we're going to reduce keywords or key phrases by which we can conduct our searches online. And today we will be facing the actual search, and there are two more things that I'll be speaking about apart from the keywords. That is how to generate your synonyms or related words to those keywords that you have actually extracted from your question. And at the same time, I'll be talking about controlled vocabulary, or what we call subject terms, and how they help you to efficiently search the literature online. Then, as part of the search process, we'll be introduced to the advanced search techniques that are broadly available to search engines and databases. So that is what we're going to be doing today in the next 1 hour. And I hope you'll bear with me. The internet is really volatile, but please continue to stick and stay with us. And let your colleagues join, invite them quickly, and let us have a cheerful hour together. That said, I'm going to just go straight for our Microsoft Word document. So I'm taking this off the screen. All right. So these are steps in our activities. Sorry, some other items are interfering. These are the steps so far that we have taken. And last week, this was the second episode of this series, we did some recall activities, and then we moved on to look at our questions. Now, this was where we ended by trying to parse our PICO elements out of the questions that we have created. So parsing the question according to the PICO elements was what we preoccupied ourselves with. But again, I gave you some theories about the question formulation itself. You need to know what background questions are, all right? And you have to also understand what we call a foreground question, which is mainly the effectiveness or intervention questions that the PICO framework has been originally created for. And I hope you also recollect that last week, we learned that the PICO can actually be adapted and changed. And so you could see in the example of this question we have here, how does Borrelia ulcer affect the lives of women in Jassy time? You see that we didn't have intervention. Instead, we had exposure, all right? And of course, there was no comparator there, and we did not also have any outcome statement specifically. But the word affect, we said, was actually to be nominalized. It is a verb at this point. So if we turn it into a noun, we have effects, all right? So today, all I'm going to do is perhaps look at another question so that we can have two. Then we proceed to our search. Now, look at question number 4, example that one of your colleagues gave in our first session. I'm going to move it down. I'll make a copy of it. So we treat it also as we did the last time with the other question. So we are going to pass this as well. By the way, please let me know. Can you see my screen, or I should enlarge this? Is the text clear?
Please, you can see.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let's look at this question. Again, remember that all that we are doing is a learning that we want to achieve, okay, so that our skills can be based on our understanding of the concepts. And for that matter, I will leave things the way they are so that we will learn together through the activities. So the first thing I want us to learn here is analyze the question itself and see whether it makes some kind of scientific or clinical sense. Then we'll proceed to tease out the core concepts or the PICO elements. So let's look at it. Is there a relationship between women's care practices and the incidence of Borrelia ulcer? Now, I want us to logically analyze this question. Can anybody tell me whether this question is researchable or not? In terms of the logic, the sequence of concepts here, women's care practices and the incidence of Borrelia ulcer. Yes. Anyone? What do you have to say about this question? Please, who wants to talk? Please, are we all there?
Yes, please come again with the question.
Yeah, so I'm asking this question itself. Logically, is this something that makes research sense?
Yeah, to me, I think there is.
It makes research sense, right? Okay. So what is the independent
please.
variable? What is the independent variable here? So the independent variable could be thought about as the cause. Okay, are you following?
Yes, dog.
As a cause, okay? And the outcome variable. Okay, Isaac, your hand is up. Kindly unmute and speak. Or let me check if Isaac, I have already allowed you to talk. All right, Isaac, you can talk now. So kindly unmute and speak up.
Okay, dog, I wanted to tell you that you've muted me, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
yeah, the question is, does this make research sense? Is there a relationship between women's care practices and the incidence of Rowley ulcer? I'm asking whether it makes research sense because here, this is an effectiveness study, actually. Or if you look at it critically, it's a kind of cause and effect question. It's trying to find out whether women's care practices has an influence on the incidence of Rowley ulcer. All right. So exploring an association between women's care practices and this. But I'm asking you, does it make clinical sense? And one person says yes. Now I want to understand by your yes. What do you mean? You believe that there could be a relation between women's care practices and Rowley ulcer incidence. Which one is the independent variable? Which one is the cause in this statement, please?
Dog.
Yes.
Please, the independent variable can be the women practices.
Very good. So women's
Women
care,
care
let me highlight it.
practices.
So women's care practices, independent variable. Yeah, obviously that is what it looks like. And the dependent variable is?
The Bruley ulcer.
All right. So Walanyo, yes, I've seen you. You're also saying care practice. That's correct. Okay. So Bruley ulcer is not the outcome. It's from here. Incidence of Bruley ulcer.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be the outcome. Okay, I agree. I agree. Now, let us investigate the logic. What is the logic? If we say cause and effect, okay, what are care practices? What do we understand by care practices? Remember what I said. I don't want to just say things. I want us to just learn, think together, so that whatever you say, we are going to record. Our purpose actually is to search. But you see, if you want to get results, it is the quality of your question that makes the results available. If you're asking the wrong or questions that are not very logical, you are not really likely to get answers, okay? So we must first find out whether the things that we are asking make much sense. All right? So I'm asking, do you think that there's a logical relationship between these two variables as a cause and effect? The yellow is the cause, that's independent variable. The blue is the outcome variable, the dependent variable. Do you think that women's care practices can lead to either a reduced or an increased incidence of Rowley ulcer? Does anybody want to answer? Or you are thinking now?
Dog,
Yes.
I think it's very confusing because when they are talking about women's care practices, is it that the women has already they've already developed the disease and we are looking at the incidence rate of it, or how health-wise, how they practice their health.
So when we say care
That
practice,
could lead to the incidence of the borreliosis.
so you see that cyclical kind of thing. Like I'm also thinking, that's why I'm asking the logic. So what are care practices? Care practices are the behaviors to treat or manage a condition. Is that not it?
Yes, please.
Very good. So that presumes that the condition already exists.
Okay.
Is that not it?
Yes, it presumes so.
Very good. Now, when we talk about incidence or prevalence of a disease, what does it mean? What is incidence?
Incidence, when we talk about incident and the prevalence, like prevalence is it has been already occurred, and then the incident is like you are following a group of people or a cohort of people to see if they will develop the condition.
Are you sure? Yes. Where are the rest? Everybody should talk. Oh. We are public health.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam, please.
Okay, so when we talk about the incidence, it's like the new cases of the disease that have been accounted for, like in a particular time. But the prevalence is both pre-existing and the new cases of the disease.
Very good. Very good. So it's more like when we are talking about incidence, we are looking at subsequent outbreaks or frequency of outbreaks. Is that not it?
Yes.
So all I'm asking is that, can the care practices lead to or affect incidents? All right, Jessica and Osborne, let me allow you to speak. I hope you are raising your hand because you want to speak. Oh, okay, Jessica and Osborne, yeah.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, please speak up.
So to me, I think there is, for instance, maybe human care practices can be, maybe they are hygienic activities, and maybe how will I put it? Like how they achieve care when there is maybe there is an incident, for instance, at the early stage, how
Okay.
they attain healthcare. So, for instance, maybe whether they use antimicrobial antibiotics at the early stage, and that can be their practices during towards the incidents.
Okay.
So that's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, Osborne, your hand is up. Please speak up.
So please, I just talk right now.
Okay, so
Oh.
it's Jessica. So
Jessica, yeah.
yes. So the care practices, since the incidence rate is the new cases that are now coming up, the care practices can help reduce the incidence rate or kind of prevent the Burley ulcer from even emerging. Since the care practices are the things that the women will put in place to prevent the disease. So yes, they are related.
But
Or
are care, okay, Jessica, just remain on the line. Are care practices preventive measures or control measures?
they can be both. That is as to when and how effectively they implemented it.
Mm.
So if they implemented it at the prevalence level, that is they being controlling it. But if it was done at the beginning of, like, maybe they realized that there was Burley ulcer and they started implementing it, then it will be the preventive.
Okay, thank you. I like your argument. However, let's look at the whole idea of care. What does care mean? Please, it's not only Jessica. Everybody should speak. What does care actually mean? in this context?
Someone.
It's brainstorming. I just want to, yeah, okay. Good, Judith.
Okay, so
Okay.
so Doc, if we are to talk about the care in this situation, means that there's a condition that we are trying to fight off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, wound care. Wound care means that there's a wound already. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. If you say we are caring for patients, the patient is already a patient. The person is sick already. So that I'm wondering if care is a prevention or control measure. Okay. Now, okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Doc, so in this case, the care we're talking about, we don't know if the women practices or their care practices either prevent them of getting bully ulcer or put them at the risk. So the care here can be the activities that they do in order to either attain a comfort health or pose them of getting the incidents. So the care here can either be negative or positive.
Okay. So now, anytime we have a confusion like this, we try to do two things. One, the important thing at this stage is that we can clearly identify our PICO elements, true or false. Are my people there? Yeah, Jessica. Yes, Jessica, your hand is up.
Doc, please, I'm still thinking. Sorry, I forgot to lower it when I raised it earlier.
Okay, sorry, don't worry. So all I'm saying is that right now, even though there's confusion in terms of the logical relationship of the variables here, at least we can clearly identify the PICO elements, true or false?
True.
Very good. So at this point, we will have to now go and learn. We need to learn about this association between women's care practice or care practices and the incidence of a particular condition or disease. So we are going to start this way. First, I want you to identify the PICO elements for me. So what is our P in this case? Remember how we did it last week? I will send it. We're analyzing the same question, the previous week style, okay? The same style. So what is the P in this situation? Yeah, Judith. Okay, sorry, let me check Judith. I think Judith wants to speak. I'm not
Women.
sure. Women, okay. Very good. Judith. Yeah, Judith, you can actually unmute and speak, please.
Women, our PICO, the P is women.
Women, okay. So then put women there.
Yes, please.
All right. What is our I?
Our I is the bully ulcer.
What is I? What does I mean
Yes.
in PICO?
The exposure. So the exposure is the bully, the condition.
Are you sure?
No.
I is the intervention.
Watch closely. I understand.
No,
I
I think
understand that the I can change to E. Okay, but you should
Yeah.
watch in the context of the question, please. Don't worry, I'll write for you, then we analyze it. Osborne, you want to speak, right?
no, the intervention or the exposure can be the women's care practices.
Care practices. Yeah, I agree with that. Now, what about C? Do we have a C? Comparator. Is there a comparison? Okay,
No, Doc.
So let me read a few of the contributions. Jessica says care practices are what the women can use to manage Buruli ulcer. Yeah, excellent. So that actually presupposes that Buruli ulcer has already occurred, and we are talking about its management. All right. Okay. So yeah, care practices. Yeah, that's the intervention or the I. Yes. What cultural beliefs influence reproductive health practices? Okay, so this is a new question coming from Justice. Okay, yeah, I can copy that also and paste the new question actually. All right. So let me just post Justice's question somewhere below, and then we will finish our analysis of this. Now, I hope you are observing something, that these things don't really come easy, okay? You sit down and think through a lot of things. Yeah, Osborne, is there a comparison?
Okay, so Doc, so here we can say that there is, in the sense that the comparison can be women's care, their protective measures, or people that are going by the protective measures and people that are not going by the protective measures. That can be the comparison.
Okay, yeah, but don't assume it. In our question, as we are seeing it right now, can we pick any word or phrase here that we can make a comparison?
No, Doc, no.
No, so it's NA, not applicable. So at this point, we are only looking at the question that is as it is written, okay? Don't worry about the approach or methodology. We are not there yet. This is just a question. So whatever has been expressed in the question here is what we are picking our concepts from. Now, the last element of the PICO is the outcome. Outcome. So can anybody see outcome here?
No.
What is the outcome
No,
here? Yes.
that's incidence of Buruli also.
Thank you. Excellent. Incidence of Buruli ulcer. All right. Now, please follow me very closely. Okay, I hope you have invited a lot of your friends today because this is a critical thing we are doing. This is a stage at which a lot of people get lost. Okay, so in our first question, which we did last week, how does Buruli ulcer affect the lives of women in Jersey time? All right, we'll start with that one. And I want you to observe something, that anytime you ask questions and you are analyzing, there are certain critical elements that you have to pay attention to. And I say that usually they are noun phrases. When I ask for the P, I think we said it is women because we are seeing population to mean the demographic characteristics, okay? Okay, so if you say women, what about Jessica? We said the exposure is really also, that is correct, and that we are looking at its effect. So the effect of really also on women. But can you see Jessica over here? Can you all see it?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, please.
Okay, what are you going to do with Jessica? Because nobody spoke about it. Even though it's in the sentence, we mentioned the PICO elements and neglected it. What was that? What was the reason behind that? Anybody tell me?
No, I think the Jessica should be part of women in Jessica as a P in the PICO element.
In fact, they have to clap for you. Thank you very much. Yeah, women in Jessica should be the population. However, we will still highlight the in Jessica, all right? Because definitely we'll eliminate it. But I want you to understand something. So you see, the population in this particular study is not just women in general, it is women in Jessica, right? In the second question, there is no setting, there is no geographical area or place included. But at the top, it's included. Now, I want us to observe something interesting about the question number 1. Question 1 is exemplary because usually that is how we put our questions when we are starting off with research, particularly if you are writing the introduction or background to your research and you are, stating your research aim or objectives and research questions. You usually bring out those primary elements, okay, of your research. So definitely, Jessica will be part of the question. However, I want us to watch this closely. You observe that the study that you want to do, okay, is a primary study, right? By primary study, we mean that you are going to go on the field yourself, and then you collect data. Are you following?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So most of the time, in the questions that you ask, there will be those elements that detail your own primary study. Now, if you are about to search the literature for extant publications or existing knowledge, usually it might not be very useful to include that element, in this case, Jessica, because it is a narrowing element. Narrowing because it is possible that people have written on ruling ulcer and its effect on women, but not necessarily in Jessica. So if you force Jessica to be part of your search keywords, you might not retrieve a lot, okay? Particularly when you are claiming that you want to do your study on women in Jessica. Now, if there is already research available on women in Jessica, then it's not necessary that you do it again, unless perhaps you think that that study was so old and that certain characteristics of the population have changed again, and your own research might bring out some new things that have not been found already. Okay? Now, we will start with that particular study and begin to learn a few things about searching. So let's start. Our first keyword is the population keyword, the demographic on women. Now, anytime you are setting out to search, it is important to search one concept at a time. This is the time you should start taking notes in your jotters. That in doing our search, after we break down our topic into the PICO elements, it is important for us to explore what is available on the topic by searching it concept by concept. So we have our women concept, all right? That's the population. We'll go and search for women in our preferred database. And at this point, I would like to launch a poll, all right, like we did the last time. I want you to tell me which of the following online information retrieval tools do you mostly use? I want to see which one is the most popular among you, and then we will start our trial search from that particular. Okay, I see Google Scholar. Okay, we have a minute to end the poll. All right. From what I can see, Google Scholar is the most popular tool, followed by the Google search itself, and then PubMed is trailing. Only 2 people out of the 20 votes use PubMed, and I will prefer to use that. And 10 out of 20. Okay, now we have 21. Yeah, so definitely it appears Google Scholar has taken the day. So we'll end the poll here for the sake of time. But I hope you can all see. Can you all see the poll? The results, can you see it?
No.
No, please.
Okay, so let me just end it and can you all see it now?
Yes, Doc.
All right. So which one is the leader?
A Google Scholar,
Exactly.
Google
Google
Scholar.
Scholar, followed by,
a Google search.
yeah, and PubMed is trailing. As for Duage and My Loft, nobody cared about them, Kura.
Yes, it's new in the system.
Is it? It's new in the system, eh? Okay, that you're right. They are new in the system. Okay, so My Loft is actually our library platform, our library e-resource platform. Duage is a director of open access journals. We'll be talking about all these because I'm going to actually be training you on how to use a library platform, My Loft. All right, so don't worry about that. Now, let's move on. Since Google Scholar is the most popular search engine among students, at least for those of you who voted, I want us to start with Google Scholar, and we are going to search. Remember, the principle is one, you search one concept at a time. And by concept, I mean the PICO elements. So there's a population or problem or patient concept. Then there is an intervention or exposure concept. There's a comparison concept. And I said comparisons are also treatments. It's just like the intervention, only that the comparison or comparator is the standard care or the gold standard against which we are going to compare the new intervention. So the C and the I are both treatments, all right? Then the O is the outcome of interest. What results are we aiming at? So we are going to search each concept at a time. At this point, let me just launch Google Scholar. So you know how to get Google Scholar. It's just simple. It's just scholar.google.com, right? So scholar.google.com. That will land in Google Scholar. Okay. And I love the slogan of Google Scholar. It says, stand on the shoulders of giants. All right. Now, there are two options, the case law and articles. By default, articles is selected. That is what it should be, actually. All right. So our population concept in the first question was what?
Women in Jessica.
Okay. But as I mentioned, we may not need to add Jessica because the Jessica is what tells us where your research is going to happen. So I'll do it first. Let's see what the results will be like. So women in Jessica. All right. Is that how you want me to type it? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
I leave it like that. Now, how many results have you got?
651.
Yeah, 651. So yes, we have things like improving the socioeconomic development of the people of Jasikan in Ghana, the role of the Catholic diocese. Now, women doesn't come in the title. It says people. But when you go down the abstract, you can see it says the study showed that the diocese was vigorously pursuing programs and projects such as in education, health, agriculture, and women's development. Have you seen it? Good. The next one says self-medication among pregnant women in the Jasikan district of Ghana. All right. So women in Jasikan, watch critically that we didn't have it the way we wrote it. You see women in the Jasikan. Did you see that a word like the article there has come between our own phrase? Our own phrase was what? Women in Jasikan. Is that not it?
Yes.
I want you to actually pay attention to the details, okay? Because this is where you master the art of searching. Searching is actually an art and a science. You have to pay attention to details. And I'm following through with your suggestions to see how learning works. So we are learning through what we are doing. I'm not only here to just teach to do it like this. If I do it that way, it becomes like I'm forcing you against a standard. But you see, searching and all the information work that we do is something we do and learn from the process, so that each work that we do subsequently is an improvement over the previous efforts. So I want us to be learning from the process. So the important thing is that women shows up in the title. Jessica also shows up in the title. Even the preposition in shows up in the title. But between the in and Jessica of our phrase, there's an article there inserted. The next one, development analysis of the rice value chain for the Hokwe and Jessica districts of the Volta region. Here, we don't see women, but we see Jessica. Okay. Now, when we go down to the abstract, again, as I mentioned, you are now going to see women. Okay. All right. Now, first thing that you must remember, anytime that you are searching a concept, and that concept, whether it's a population concept or the intervention concept or whatever concept you are searching, and it is made of more than one word, then the best way to search that concept is to make it a phrase, because the multiple words in that concept all come together to describe a single concept. And I want to explain something to you. I don't know if you can all see the, let me increase this. No, it doesn't even affect what I want to. Can you see the address bar? What I'm highlighting at the top, can you see it? I'll just copy and paste it. Let me copy and paste and show you something. I'm pasting it just in the search box here. You see what is happening here? This is how Google Scholar search your thing for you. Okay, forget about the women in Jessica, and that's what we put in there. But this is how it searched. The one that is underlined with the wavy red. Can you see it? It took women, then plus, in, plus, Jessica. Let me just remove the end part. It's a technical thing that you don't need. Have you seen what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Have you explain it? Women plus, in, plus, Jessica. Now, who can tell me what the plus there stands for? What does a plus mean?
And the Boolean end.
Thank you. That is a Boolean end. Now, the Boolean end is only used to connect separate or unique concepts. So what it means is that when you enter your phrase like that without indicating it's a phrase, your search engine picks each word in that phrase as if they were a unique separate concept. And then it combines them together using the AND Boolean logic or operator. Please, if you are not on the floor, kindly mute yourself, please. So I don't know if you have understood what I have just said, that in our phrase, women in Jessica, which we put in just like that, like a normal sentence, you see that the results that are retained according to this operation behind the scenes. That women was taken as a unique concept. Even the word in is seen as a unique concept, and then Jessica as a unique concept. And they were all added using the AND logic, which is the Boolean AND. That's the plus you are seeing over here. And we had 651 results. And you can see that we didn't see any of them that contains our exact phrase, women in Jessica. The closest we got was women in the Jessica something something. Now, I'll remove that. And what I want you to remember is this, that anytime you want to search a concept and it is made up of more than a word, it becomes a phrase. So you can have a keyword for a concept. You can also have a concept represented by a key phrase, not a word. Now, in searching, how do we indicate to the search engine that what I am putting in is a phrase for a single concept, that all of it together forms one concept? They are not different or unique concepts. It is by putting double quotation marks around that phrase. So I have to quote this using the double inverted commas. And remember that technically, it is not the two single quotes that you type 2 times, but it is one double quote. So you have to hold down your shift key on the keyboard before you type the quotation mark. Please, did you get that right? Am I able with me?
No, please come again.
Come again.
I'm coming again. All right. What I have said is that anytime your concept is a phrase, for example, we type in women in Jersey kind. The women in Jersey kind, what concept is it? Yes, Isaac. Okay, yes. Women in Jersey kind, what concept is it? When I say concept, I mean the PICO elements. Yes, Isaac.
The population, sir.
Thank you. That is a P of our PICO, okay? But you see, that population concept is expressed by more than one word. So once you have more than one word, it is a phrase. It's no longer a word, but a phrase. Do we agree on that? Isaac, your hand is still up. You can speak up, please. Yeah, speak up. All right, Isaac, kindly unmute and speak, please.
Doc, I wanted to. Hello, Doc.
Yes, I'm here.
I wanted to say that was the population, but I realized that I was muted again.
Okay, sorry. So I've allowed you now. Okay, so you are right.
Yeah.
So the population is just a single concept, right? Therefore, if the keyword that represents that single concept has more than one word, then we have to tell the system that even though it is more than one word, it is still a single concept. And the way we do that is to enclose our phrase in double quotation marks. Please, you all know what quotation marks are, right?
Yes, please.
All right. And you know what a double quotation mark is, right? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Doc.
You also know a single quotation mark, right?
Yes. Please.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm saying that when you want to indicate to the system that what I'm searching is a phrase, not a word, then you enclose it in double quotation marks. And that you don't make a double quotation mark by typing 2 single quotation marks. No, you type the character only once and it will print the double quotation mark. It's also a character. And to do that on your Windows keyboard, you hold down the shift key before pressing the key for the quotation mark. That is what to type the upper character, which is the double quotation mark on that particular key. Please, is that clear now?
Yeah.
All right, so thank you.
Yes.
So in the first instance, we left this to run as a normal sentence without a quotation marks. That means we allow the system to see each of the words here as a separate concept. Now we have removed that. Let's see whether after searching this, we'll still have the same results or less or more. With the first one, we have 651 results. And none of them has our exact phrase, women in Jersey kind. Let us search again and see what will happen this time. Now tell me, how many results have you got?
1.
Only one.
Very good. From 651 to just 1. What can you say about searching with the exact, with the quotation marks? What can you say about it?
Look, I think searching with the quotation mark limits the number of articles that come in, and it will give you close to what you are looking for.
Thank you very much. You have to get an award. So you see, what we have just done is what we call exact phrase search. Exact phrase search. So you see, we are limiting the system. Remember one thing, that the internet has billions and billions of documents. And so if you don't know how to search correctly, you are going to be so immersed in papers or results of all manner of kinds that you get dizzy. You are not able. Remember the information literacy concept we learned as information overload. Do you recollect that?
Yes.
Very good. So to be efficient, we try as much as we can to get just what we want, so that every other clutter is removed from our search results. And I am happy that you realized after we changed our strategy, instead of searching those words like a normal sentence in which the system is seeing each word as a concept, we decided to restrict the system that, hey, look, the whole of women in Jessica is just one concept. That's our population, only one concept, by using the exact phrase search technique. Now, only one result appears. And you can see that, indeed, our phrase, women in Jessica, is available in this document. Even though in the title, you don't see it. You see the article there in the title. Come down to the abstract and see. Pregnant women in Jessica. Do we have our women in Jessica or not?
We have it.
Excellent. Very good. District, who were below 15 years and those who refused to consent to blah, blah. Then it continues, 3.7, I'm sure that's the chapter or section thing. Effects of self-medication on pregnant women in Jessica. Have you seen all of that? So you see that it brings back exactly what you have searched. Nothing more, nothing less. All right? Okay. But again, as I told you, if you include your primary research concept, okay, in your search, when you are looking for existing knowledge or literature, you are likely to get very few to zero. For example, by putting Jessica in here, we understand that you want to explore this concept in Jessica. That's your primary research site. So if we have not got people who have written enough on Jessica, then naturally, if you include Jessica, which is your setting, by setting, I hope you know what I mean. setting. Setting means the geographical location, the place where you are going to conduct your study, okay? When you put that as your search term while looking for existing literature, you are likely to narrow your search to very few or zero, as we have seen here. In this case, only one item came. That is why I said earlier, we highlighted it in the question that we will not use the Jessica in our question, in our statement. So now we have women. We want to set the concept women alone because it is not part, the Jessica is no longer part of it. Jessica is going to be our primary focus. But right now, we're looking for literature to be able to write the background of our study, which includes women worldwide, women in Africa, women in Ghana, before we come down to say our own narrow or niche study area of Jessica, and later by our own primary data. So women generally, let's search and see. How many results does women retain? Let's search. Sorry, okay, it's now searching. Very good. Now, when we search the concept of women, how many results have you got?
Six million 120,000.
You see, that's the concept of women. Now, what I want you to begin to explore is that, check, is women in each of the titles and abstract of the results you have seen. First result, about you and women. Second result, who are the battered women? The women is occurring, right? Where are the women? Excusing women. Women throughout. Can you see it? In a few places, in a few places, you see the women with the apostrophe or possessive. You can see women's something, women's rules, women's health, but it is still the same women, right? Women empower, okay. women's well-being, women's experience. Okay. All right. So we know that our concept women is popular. Now, do you know why we are doing this concept by concept search? We just want to be, clear in our minds if the concepts we have in our question are actually available in existing studies, so that when we combine them to look for studies that actually relate to our own question, we are sure that we are going to get some relevant results. So after the women concept, what is our next concept in the first questions, people? It is what? Buruli ulcer. Have you seen it? Buruli ulcer. So let's go and enter it. Please, someone should tell me, how do we enter Buruli ulcer? Hey,
Man,
that
until
is
about one,
also.
Say me, but
Hey, I beg, please.
my main family and me,
Hey, my people,
I do want my phone is 20. Family and more class,
please, I don't want to mute everybody again, okay? Let's focus. If you can hear me, please, let's all focus. I don't want to mute anyone.
I'm ready.
All right, so please, let's go on.
Seven is also 26, 2032.
Esther Dazi, please mute yourself.
In fact, I'm just trying to, okay. Well, I wanted not to mute anyone. All right, let's go ahead and discuss. So I was asking, how do I enter that concept, the Buruli ulcer concept? Who can tell me what I should do? Yes, quickly. What should I do? How do I enter it?
Doc, I think since the Buruli ulcer is also more than one word, we need to put it put the double quotation mark around it so that it will tell the system that is like one concept, so that it won't search the Buruli separately. And
You are very, very right. And I'm happy you have picked up the idea. So anytime that your concept is expressed in more than one word, remember to use the double quotation mark around it so that you don't go getting things that are unnecessary, okay? Now, sorry. I think the cursor was on something else when I clicked. We are not doing something in Benin. Okay, so we put our double quotation marks around this and we search. Okay, search our concept for us. Now, even with our exact phrase search, see how many results we have got. How many are they?
12,200.
So you see why the Buruli ulcer, we better search it by the exact phrase. Imagine we didn't add the exact phrase. Let's test and see. Let's test. Let's remove the exact phrase search technique and allow Buruli ulcer to be searched just as a regular phrase. We had 12,200. Now, how many do we have?